Welcome back to the channel. I'm Miguel Malenciano, and this is Evolution Angler Bassin. How's that bite? You can see it's been a while. It's been a while since we last seen each other. Last season, a lot of things have changed. Got a new Bassmaster Classic champion, Jason Christie. Picked up a couple friends during this off season, and you guys will see what I mean as the season progresses. Also picked up a couple new tricks, even though I'm not wearing sleeves, but they're up there somewhere. Short sleeves. I promise you, I got some new tricks for you. In terms of today, however, we are going to be doing this long-awaited boat mod episode, the install for the Anchor Wizards. You know, last year, one thing led to another. Got one piece late, got one piece here, got wrapped up in fishing. Realized that I needed all new hardware just to mount it. Before you know it, the season went by and here we are, year 2. But we are going to end up putting the Anchor Wizards in today. No more wait. In connection with that, and we'll circle back to this later, I do have, I believe, bomb anchors, at least one of them on the way. We'll catch up and speak more about that later. Right now, you know, let's get things going. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to see you guys again too. And let's get these Anchor Wizards in. So let me give you a quick rundown of what we're going to be doing here today. Not rocket science, not the most easiest stuff in the world either, somewhere in between. But for today, what we're going to be doing is not one, but 2 Anchor Wizards, dual Anchor Wizard install on the boat. Going to have one up front. Basically on my right hand side, I'm going to have the receiver. Going to have it run down on the trolley line all the way down to the tip of the boat here. We're going to have to cut out a hatch here, which I've pretty much already pre-cut. Just got to finish punching it out. Put the hatch cap on. The reason why we're cutting out the hatch here is to have access to the hull of the boat on the front end so that we could put the backing plates for the gear track, which is going to house the chute for our anchoring wizard, or rather our Anchor Wizard. Get this back here. Then, as if that weren't enough, we're going to do the same exact deal right back here. This is going to be a little bit more tricky, but I've taken measurements, and again, you know, here we are almost a year later since we started amassing all the stuff for this project, and it's going to work. We're going to make it work. We're going to have an Anchor Wizard mounted the same thing, the receiver here, the chute there. We already have a hatch cut out in the back. I did this last year. You can go back to my videos. I believe I have a video on putting these hatches in. And yeah, we're basically going to have that. Oh, one last thing in between. We're going to be running these YakAttack slotted pad eyes. Give you a closer look there. Basically, this is going to be for managing my line between the receiver and the chute. So let's talk about why so over the top with 2 Anchor Wizards, and I'll tell you why. Strategy. So this is going to hold me nice and tight and snug in the current, or just in wind in general. I fish a lot of lakes, fish a lot of ponds, a lot of open water sometimes. Precision casting is the name of the game, especially when I'm tournament fishing, doing my KBF thing. You know, I don't have spot lock, just my progression as an angler. I don't have active target either. No knock against those forward-facing sonar guys. I may be there one day. Just right now, it's my belief that my intuition as an angler is basically what gets me fishing the boat. And I want to keep growing that. I want to master that. Not that I ever will become a master. You always keep learning to the day you die. But what I mean to say is, you know, this is a tool in my arsenal that now is going to be indispensable. I can lock down my anchors front and back, know that I'm not going to move from side to side in the wind or in the current, and pick apart a laydown. I'm already fishing slow as it is. I'm already a finesse fisherman as is. On a kayak, you're not moving around a lot per se. So every target that you have is that much more valuable to draw fish out of. Again, without spot lock, without forward facing sonar on my boat, this is the next best thing. This allows me to use my intuition and beat it cast after cast after cast. If I find a good spot, then I'm on it, especially when you're doing deeper water fishing. You know, it's hard to stay in position, especially when you find a school. So this is going to help me out, little things like that. Enough yapping. Let's get to boat cracking. As much as putting holes in the boat hurts me, this is for a good cause. Strap you up on my head, guys, and let's get this done. Let's get cracking here. Just double check and make sure that the angle's right. Make sure you guys can see everything. Yeah, seems to be just about right. Okay. Either way, I'm gonna have this close. Yeah. So like I said, I got this pretty much pre-cut. Just gotta finish it out. Hold on. I think my dog's getting a little nervous with all the noise. What's up, Lila? You wanna go? Come on. All right, back to the action. All right, holy moly, look at that. We got leaves in here. Heck, that leaf getting there. I'll probably through one of the other hatches. Okay, so get you guys a nice little look in there. Not too much space at all. But I already see a couple things I could add if I really wanted to. Some batteries and whatnot for future fish finder endeavors. May put a second unit on the boat, which is a little nuts, but whatever. Yeah, let me get these holes pre-drilled and I'll be right back. So we got the holes pre-drilled, and the next step is going to be actually to let me go ahead and grab this here. I know I gotta have it. Stay away from the DevCon. That's the good stuff for the baits, but I know I have a JB weld. Here it is. All right, so in lure making, you use 2-ton epoxy in the beginning. You know, you find your way and you work with, let's call it what it is, a little bit of crap. This was not what I needed for my crankbaits, but it doesn't mean that it won't work for other applications, such as waterproofing your hatch. Some good 2-ton epoxy. I recommend that you actually use marine grade sealant. I just don't have any at the moment. I actually do. What I have is white. I don't want that contrasting color to pop out a little bit. And I'll show you what I mean here. Last year, I did use some. It's pretty much gone now, but you can see the remnants of it there. Hope I'm giving you, let me see if I'm giving you a good view. Gonna have to really get in here. Right along right here. See that faded white there? Not necessarily liking all that. Especially on the lime green kayak. I'm pretty comfortable with working with 2-ton epoxy at this point. So, you know, not necessarily in the directions, but I'm gonna go ahead and apply some JB weld to waterproof these holes. So what I'm doing is mixing part A and part B from the syringe. I want to say maybe 2, at most 3 fluid ounces here in general, in total. And I'm just gonna mix this up. This is quick 5-minute epoxy, so mix it up 30 seconds or so. Try to get all the bubbles out, try to get it evenly laid in. Then ruin that and even it out again. Is the best way I can describe how to mix it. Then what we're gonna do quickly, because this stuff does set pretty quickly. And come over here real quick. Now I'm using this brush. It's more of a sponge. Precisely because of that, its preciseness, dang it. And that's what you don't want to do. You don't want to get any of this on the boat. And if you do, wipe it off immediately. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is base it on your sponge or your brush, whatever you want to call it, on the inside ring. Just like this. You see where the flattened edge comes into play here? Get up that nice and smooth on there. And just even it out. You want it to be on there pretty thick, but not dripping, falling off either. You know, a nice healthy amount. This way, it's going to prevent less leakage in the future. And this stuff holds up great. Great, great, great. Boom, so we got that done. Then you give it another little courtesy around the ring itself on the boat. Courtesy dab right there, so it receives it a little bit better. And it's already starting to dry on me. I gotta get this stuff on quick. When it starts getting tacky like this, more globule like, it's time to finish her up. So bam, just line up the holes, press that right into place. Now, what's next right now is gonna be, wipe my hands. Get this away too. So took a trip to Home Depot. We got these Everbuilt machine screws, and they already come with the washer. In my case, these are what, 10 by 32, 3/4 of an inch. It's gonna be this simple, folks. Nothing difficult to this at all. You take the screw, you line it up. Oh, gotta have a screwdriver, of course. Take the screw, it's nice and lined up, and you start drilling away. I've been doing a little bit of work. As you can see here, we got the hatch all put in, the epoxy's all dry, it's looking nice and tight. While I was waiting for the epoxy to dry, I had these Railblazer, yeah, that's right. I had these Railblazer outriggers on with the receivers and everything. And I realized after having them for a year, I didn't need that on the boat. So that explains the holes that you see there. No fret about that. What I'm going to do with that is seal it with epoxy, then take the airbrush over there, give it a nice little touch up, and then go ahead and dab it over with epoxy one more time. But my main gist of everything here, I had trouble connecting this. I even had to run out to Home Depot real quick. Didn't have what I was looking for, but in a pinch, it'll do. So these were the intended backing plates that I had to be mounted in, which was the reason why I even cut the hatch, was because I wanted to put the backing plate into the gear track underneath in the hull of the boat. Just the logistics of it didn't fit either way. I tried for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then was like, I'm just gonna have to do it the traditional way. Went and got what I'm looking for are heavy wire nuts. some heavy wire nuts, and you know, I'll get those, but for now just have some regular galvanized nuts back there. I'll end up getting the right hardware, or who knows, I may even Frankenstein this, cut these out and just have them form to fit. And then we got the anchor wizard up here, which was a real simple mount. Basically what we did here was just get the T-bolts in and then mounted right onto the gear track that existed on the kayak already. What I do have to do, and we'll get back to this, is get the pad eyes all measured out and then drilled in. Not too big of a deal. But what we're gonna do right now, grab my drill. Let's head on over to the back of the kayak and do what I wanted to do in the front. Just get it done now. So basically, I already took a gear track, and this is very important, this deal. If you're ever doing this, see how I ran into trouble up in the front? I wanted to make sure that that would not have been the case here, so I went ahead and put my black pack on, any and all obstructions that would be in the way. Then I measured out where I wanted more or less my gear track, and you can see the little dots there, which is right here. And then didn't attach it completely, but I took the rear anchor wizard and I put it on just to double and triple make sure that I'm gonna have full range of motion, no obstructions, nothing in the way. So that's working pretty well there, and we're just gonna go ahead and drill out the holes and install this, so bear with me. One of the cool thing about this YakAttack Gear track, the backing mounts anyway, they do come with double the hardware, just depending on what gear track you're actually using. I'm gonna go ahead and with the black ones, just like the color. Both of them fit. In my case, I just like the contrast of the black on the stainless. Boy, that's gonna be tricky. Let's see what I could do here. Alright, so I drilled out the first hole. I'm gonna go in underneath with the backing plate, and then over the top with the actual gear track and the first screw. Went all the way in. All right, that's on there nice and tight, nice and solid, not going anywhere. All right, so we're here at the rear gear track and have the chute in hand. And the reason is because I actually want to attach the chute first, so I know the point of swing or point of contact that we're gonna have. Basically, you're gonna want this to swing free like that and fall all the way back. Meanwhile, keeping separation from your actual kayak to the chute. Therefore, we're gonna have to do a little freestyle and measuring, just to make sure we're okay. And once you do that and you about have it set to where you want it, first thing you're gonna do is, so these are 2-piece T-bolts. You're gonna take the underneath piece first, slide it right into place, then take your actual bolt, line that up to where you had it, and whoops, you gotta grab your Allen key, of course. Then the rest is pretty simple, you know, you just drive it into place. The first one loosely, and the second one, just shimmy it on in. Same deal. Don't worry about tightening it down right now. We'll come back to that later. Then once you loosely have it on, this is where you could actually measure and see where you're gonna put your gear track. So as you can see, my chute extends all the way out, and you still have that gap, that 1 inch, 1.25 inch space. And the reason why you want that 1.25 inch space is because your anchor, to keep a tight line, it's not gonna hit the fold of your kayak on the rear. You're gonna have a nice tight line all the way down to the bottom. So let me just punch the holes here, and I'll be right back with you guys. All right, guys, so we got the rear gear track on, attached by 1 bolt right now. Then, you know, that's sort of just to give me a line of reference so I can shimmy it this way or that way if I have to, just make sure everything is nice and linear like. I'm gonna go ahead underneath right now with the first backing plate. And it pretty much just self-attaches. Cool, so we got the rear gear track all mounted, and let me tell you, with those backing plates, that's not going anywhere anytime soon. Never say never, but looks like we're pretty set. Now, next order of business is gonna be to put the anchor wizard on. So these are 2-part T-bolts. What you're gonna do is go underneath on either end, begin to slide into place, and it's simple, so simple, it's gonna astonish you. You just put the bolt part in through the slot, line it up, and it catches. As soon as it catches, I like to offset it a little bit. Get the second one in. You don't tighten the first one as much, just so you can play around with the second one. Gonna want to centerize that. It's looking nice and good. Have a screwdriver in my hand and I need the Allen key. All right. You can tell it's getting late. Just tighten that down exactly how you want it. And we're all set here. So at this point, what's left to do is just run the pad eyes, and we should be pretty much all set with our dual anchor wizard system. But other than that, guys, I'm tired. I'm gonna end up catching you all in the morning. I gotta go get my beauty rest. See you then. Look at that. Just a couple days ago, I was hitting holes in the back of pockets. Not that everything was iced out completely yet, but we're starting to get there. Alright, guys. So, it's 2 days later. Been working a little bit, shoveling snow. But, side note, all that snow is gone, all the ice is gone. We're iced out. I'm gonna be as soon as I can get this kayak out there, I'll be filming content. So that's really good. But what we're doing now with the kayak is I've gone ahead and pre-measured holes for the eyelets so that we could pass the anchor wizard line. And I've also go ahead and marked where I want my initial holes. And then I'll adjust course after that. So bear with me. We're gonna punch these holes, or actually, we're gonna bore out a little bit because they're self-threading screws. Gonna bore out a little bit beforehand, and then just finish with the screws. Let's do it. Then after they're all in place, I'm just gonna go ahead and line them up, have them correctly spaced out, nice and even, and yeah, finish it off. That's gonna be looking pretty good right there, pretty solid. So just go ahead and, it's a lot better when you pre-notch the holes. I lied. Works a lot better when you just punch a hole right directly through. And now we're just gonna repeat the same process, but in the back. Yeah, that looks pretty straight. That is looking pretty good. This next part here is going to be completely 100% my own doing, and by that I mean it's not necessarily the proper way to plug a hole on a boat, but given my interactions with painting crankbaits over the off season and my interactions with this stuff right here, DevCon, what I decided to do to plug the holes that I had cut previously for the base for the outriggers, what I did was I applied some simple painter's tape just to plug the hole real quick. And then what I'm gonna do is mix some 2-part epoxy. This is the good stuff, DevCon. Mix a little bit, let it set, or rather pour it, let it set, level out. Then I'm gonna go back with the airbrush, and just like a crankbait, except this is a kayak, I'm just gonna match the hatch and turn it to the color. I'll probably hit a little chartreuse, and then pepper in, I don't know, maybe some like darker green mixed with black, something to match this color here. Might create a little custom stencil for this too, just for the little splotches here. Oh, and then I'm gonna go and hit it again with some more DevCon just to keep the paint on there. But first things first, let's apply the first coat of DevCon over the masking tape. So here what I did was I recessed the tape about 1 millimeter or so on every hole, and all I want to do is just fill in the gap, being very careful to not spill any or have any come over the sides. But it's all right on this first application if just a little bit does go awry. So what the painter's tape is doing underneath, other than giving the cup a bottom, basically, it's a filler, because what the epoxy is going to do is harden and grab and pretty much cement a base where we had none before, and it also waterproofs pretty well. Not too worried if a little bit does go over the edges, because I can always go back with some really fine grit sandpaper and sand it down to form. Alright, this first side looks to be just about right. Alright, cool. So we're back, and here's what I got set up. I got my airbrush and my compressor out, my Iwata, my master. This is all hardened here. You guys got a good view, just making sure. Yeah, this is all hardened here. And what I pretty much did was just take some painter's tape, put it over the original holes, then take my X-Acto knife. It's my X-Acto knife. Here it is. Just take my X-Acto knife, cut out those holes again. Just leaving the epoxy exposed, pretty much just creating a stencil for the next part. And before I do this part, I really want to just hit it home. This is at your own risk. I'm doing this because I'm really a meathead, and I just want to explore a little bit. I'm pretty confident in the materials that I make baits with. Also, you have to take into account, got eight, four on either side. Got 8 tiny holes on my gunnels that if something goes wrong, I'm not going to have water leaking in. I wouldn't necessarily try this, but if you are going to try this on your own, you know, just remember it's at your own risk, and do a little homework before you do anything. Just going about this, if anything goes wrong, then, you know, I'll just use marine grade sealant, but I feel that cosmetically this may be a little bit better for me. So, disclaimer out of the way, this is what we're doing. Bang. We're going to hit this with a little bit of opaque white, just to get the darkness underneath out of there. Then we're going to hit that with some chartreuse, with some Createx fluorescent. It's called fluorescent yellow. It's really chartreuse. Then I'm going to make a little homemade mixture here of, I believe that's pearl copper, black, and transparent green to try to match these dark little dots or this pattern, whatever it is there. And I'm going to go ahead and I actually have a 1.5 stencil, and I have these tiny, tiny little dots here. Get you a little close-up view. See that right there? We're going to end up using that for our shade. So stick with me and watch what I do. So as you can see, kayak is gone out of the Finesse factory. That could only mean one thing: we're done. So let's go check it out. And also, side note, you see me in shorts, see me in sandals. It's not just because I'm inside. We're headed outside today. We're gonna be fishing in a bit. That's crazy. You guys just saw snow the other day, and we're gonna be getting 70-degree weather. So this is what we got going. Everything hardened up nicely here. You know, got it nice and camouflaged. Not an exact match, but for me, it'll do. Give you guys a nice little close up there. Man. And we're talking, it's pretty hard, pretty stable. So the anchor wizards, you're gonna have your anchor wizard here, all the way down to the line, a couple eyelets, all the way to the chute. Then when I let go of the line, the anchor wizards are going to deploy. Got another one back here. Got the crank right behind the seat. Got the chute in the back. And most importantly, we've decided to add a bomb anchor. So there's a 6-pound anchor, pretty much well made and suited for, I know it's not how it goes on, but I just want to show you how well they fit into place, the anchor wizard and the bomb anchor. So yeah, that's the setup. Now, taking a look at the anchor, taking a look at my setup. You guys haven't really seen me paint baits yet, but you're gonna. And seeing as how it is pretty much the start of the season for me, we're gonna be kicking off right now. Actually, I'm going to fish. Let's do a giveaway. I want to take that bomb anchor, and I actually want to paint that a bait fish color. That's going to be coming up on one of the episodes soon. So I'm taking any suggestions on bait fish patterns, and we're going to turn this into a giveaway. How? So 2 things you got to do. You have to be a subscribed viewer, and based on whatever comment you leave in terms of requested bait fish patterns, I'm going to go ahead and pick one of those bait fish patterns, give it away on, I don't know. Let's see what we got here. Let's do an S-crank. We're going to give away an S-crank in the same pattern that I do the bomb anchor. So remember, 2 things for this giveaway. Be a subscribed viewer and leave a comment as to what pattern you'd like to see on the bomb anchor. And we're gonna make that happen. And then I'm also gonna go ahead and take this S-crank, paint it in the same pattern, put some hardware on it, ship it out to a lucky winner. For now, it's gonna do it today. Guys, I'm gonna go fishing. I'm very excited. We're gonna have 70-degree temperature today. That's crazy. Just the other day it was snowing. You guys definitely saw that. Hey guys, I'm Miguel Malenciano. This is Evolution Angler Bassin, and we'll catch you next time.